Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you're having a lovely day. Today I'd like to go over an email that I received that was very critical in a very harsh way of the videos that I've been doing on Reddit over the past week and a half. I'm not going to rehash my sincere disagreements with the CEO of Reddit, the dishonest manner within which he has engaged in business, and the changes he's made to his site. I believe that businesses have the right to pursue making money. I have no problem with that. However, I do believe that you should try to do so in an honest way that shows respect for your users and the people that make your platform or your business what it is. When you stop respecting people and when you are dishonest with people, that's when I no longer have sympathy for you. And I just don't like the way he does business. In those videos, I was talking about how a lot of third-party app developers who create applications that allow people with accessibility issues or people who are blind to be able to utilize the platform, comment, and read things with screen readers are now going to be screwed because many of these applications are not going to be able to work with Reddit anymore and they will be shutting down. And this is the email that I received. Now, before I get into reading the email, I want to make it very clear. I don't want this video to be about me. I want it to be about the principle, because this is a principle that my dad introduced to me at a very young age. And he told me, you're not going to understand this principle until you're older, but just trust me on this. This is the way the world works. And it was very difficult to trust him on this, because the older I got, the more I realized the people that screw people over and treat others like garbage are the ones that get ahead. But he always told me, those are just the ones you see. For every one of those you see, there are a lot of people that get ahead doing the right thing. Let me read the email. Lewis, be real. You don't care about the blind or the disabled, and you never did. This is virtue signaling of the highest order for a stupid YouTube video. You are not disabled and you are not blind. What gives you the right to discuss this if you speak for the blind community? Give me an effing break. And then he refers to and links a comment from Reddit itself. Lame. The Reddit hates blind people is such a tacked-on opportunistic point. People never cared about that, and the immoralizing in this video is additional pearl clutching. Okay. Let's dig into that. And again, to be clear, I don't want this to be about me. I want you to focus on the principle. Do I care about disabled or blind people? Let's look at the history. 2 years ago, I did this video. Let's talk about Colorado, wheelchairs, and right to repair. In this video, I'm talking about reporting that demonstrated that a few years ago, people who wanted right to repair for wheelchairs kind of got screwed over by the legislature. They had presented a right to repair bill, and many people who were disabled, who did use wheelchairs, drove hours out of their way to show up to the Colorado state legislature to talk to their legislators about it. And after hours of testimony, what happened is the legislator said, and I quote, "I still have a lot of questions. I still have a lot of concerns." But they didn't actually say what those questions were. They never said what those concerns were, and they never allowed the people that traveled hours out of their way to the state legislature to address those concerns. I personally have felt this frustration as somebody who has shown up at state legislative bodies and been completely ignored by politicians while being stampeded by opposition lobbyists. So I decided, let's see if my nonprofit could help them out. A few months ago, I did this video where I went over all of the expenditures that my nonprofit makes. I put all of these expenditures into a spreadsheet, and as you can see here, there is one to Mendez Consulting for $10,000. This was a wire transfer to a lobbyist to try and get right to repair passed. Now, I am not disabled. I have never used a wheelchair. Knock on wood that I hopefully am not disabled anytime soon, and my repair shop does not fix wheelchairs. The passing of this bill has no immediate benefit for me. What happened after I hired that lobbyist and spent $10,000 of my nonprofit's money trying to get it passed? It passed the Colorado House, and then it was signed by the governor. Now, fast forward. What happened after this bill was signed by the governor? 1 year later, they noticed that, a right to repair bill was signed, and wheelchairs are not going at 90 miles an hour down the highway and then blowing up like IEDs in Iraq. Maybe this is not the end of the world. Maybe right to repair is a good thing. And a right to repair bill passed for tractors as well. So now tractors don't have to wait for some dingus from the dealer to show up and plug his computer in after a farmer has already fixed his tractor and allow it to work again by clearing the error codes. Now farmers have right to repair. Now what happens after farmers get right to repair and the wheelchairs get right to repair? We get right to repair. In Minnesota, I released this video just 3 weeks ago saying we want a right to repair bill that applies to consumer electronics. The things that I work on was passed. What's the lesson? Getting what you want in life, whether it's out of your business, your personal relationships, or even a legislative hearing, is not necessarily about focusing on your own selfish interests. It often comes down to whether or not you're willing to help somebody that nobody else is willing to help, that you can tell is clearly in distress, when you have the means and you have the opportunity to do so. If you have the means and you have the opportunity, in my opinion, you have the responsibility. And if you take up the mantle of that responsibility, it will come back to you when you least expect it. But you have to be willing to do it, and you have to be willing to do it when you genuinely have no guarantee and no idea of how this will ever benefit you. When I say that this follows the example of what I do on my channel, I started uploading videos showing people how to fix their own stuff back when my channel had about 50 subscribers and virtually nobody was watching. My videos would get 2 or 3 views per upload, and very few people knew who I was. I didn't have monetization turned on, and I never thought anybody outside of maybe a small group, handful of people would find my stuff that may have gone through some of the same aggravation I did in trying to learn all of this. Long before this was a genre on YouTube that people were regularly uploading to, and you had dozens of consumer electronics component level motherboard repair channels like you do now. It wasn't normal to give away that level of information back then. Now, there's over 1 million subscribers, and when you Google MacBook motherboard repair, I'll be damned if I'm not one of the first results that shows up in almost every state. Maybe my video will get nothing done. Maybe I'll go nowhere with it. Maybe no change will occur from the facts that have been presented, that the CEO of Reddit has been lying to their users, developers, partners, and let's be real, at some point when they IPO, probably their investors. Maybe I'll get nothing done there. Maybe the blind people really will get screwed and my videos will kind of go by the wayside. Maybe they won't. Raised almost $2 million to try and get legislation passed that benefits consumers. Done a lot of work here to get people to promote and produce educational content so other people can learn how to get into the field. These videos have done a lot of good. Why not try to do a little bit more? What does it cost me to discuss an issue that affects somebody else simply because it doesn't affect myself? I am not blind. And again, knock on wood, hopefully I'm not blind anytime soon. But if I can help somebody that has a problem, that has a disability, that has an issue that I don't have, what skin off of my back is it to actually try and help them out? So back to that lesson that my dad taught me. There's this narrative that's taken over that cutthroat, evil sociopaths are always the ones that win. And that's not true. Sometimes you'll have the means and the opportunity to help someone out of a bad situation when there is no immediate or direct benefit to you. And what you learn in those moments is that sometimes the best way to get what you want, the best way to selfishly benefit, is to simply be a good person. And that's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye now.